Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Karan and as the title of this video suggests, I'll be introducing you guys to the interface of Photoshop with this video, and I'll be doing a bunch of videos regarding basics of Adobe Photoshop after this as well. It's my hope that through these small videos you'll be able to understand how Photoshop works and where you can apply it when you're working on your own graphic or photo editing project. So the first thing you're going to want to know is you want to go at adobe.com/creative cloud. I'm using Creative Cloud CC 2020. That's the only reason I'm suggesting to go to Creative Cloud. When you type in this address, you'll might have a pop-up suggesting that you're maybe visiting the website through a different region. For me, it's because I'm in India, they're telling me to go to the Indian website and just click on whichever region you're in. And once that happens, you can just scroll down and you can go to Photoshop and click on try for free. Once that loads, again, you will have an option to either buy a plan you want or to just start a free trial. Now you can just download Photoshop if that's all you want to do, but just because I'm using Creative Cloud, that's the reason I'm suggesting to download Creative Cloud. Regardless of what you choose, you have to register with an email address and you can download the exe after that. So in the free trial, you get a 7-day access to the complete Creative Cloud platform. And 7 days is not that much, but after 7 days, you'll have to choose a plan again. So it's up to you if you want to purchase a plan after that or not. The reason I'm suggesting you guys to go with a free trial first is because if you're completely new to Photoshop or Adobe in general, it's it's not something you're 100% sure about. That's what I'm assuming. If you're serious about learning Photoshop and maybe you want to pursue it as a hobby or something full time as a career, then yeah, definitely you'll want to go for a plan eventually. But just for the sake of this video, I would suggest to go for the free trial. So yeah, once you're registered with the free trial, you can download the exe, run it, install it, and you'll have a pop-up for Adobe Creative Cloud here. So once that's done, you can go to all apps. That's probably what's going to open for you the first time. And they'll show you a list of the installed apps you have and the apps that are available to you in your subscription. So because I have CC 2020 subscription, these are all the apps that are available to me. I've already installed the apps that I use. So if you want to install Photoshop, it'll come under this list where it'll be in Photoshop and then install. And once you click install, it'll automatically install itself. Once that's done, you can just click on open and Photoshop will start to load itself. Photoshop is obviously, for those of you who don't know, Photoshop is a photo editing tool and it's a very powerful tool. And in my opinion, even now it's the industry standard. There are a few competitors that have been developing for a few years now. So let's see how the industry changes. But for now, Photoshop is basically your industry standard. If you disagree, feel free to write that in the comment. But yeah, so let's get back to the software. Once Photoshop loads, you'll be having this welcome screen that's going to be shown to you. And basically, uh, the first thing that you can see on the welcome screen is your home tab. That's the highlighted tab. That's where you are right now. You can go to the learn button below, and when you click on that, they'll show you a bunch of tutorials that are available to you from Adobe itself. So these are tutorials that Adobe, the company, has recorded themselves. You can follow through with those as well. They're pretty good tutorials. But for now, you just want to click on create new. What this is going to do is it's going to give you a new document window. Once the new document window opens, you might not have a recents panel. That's because I've already opened Photoshop before. You might have, but you will have these presets basically. So presets for art and illustration. If you're going to work on a web design, that's a preset for a web design. For mobile phones, they have their own presets. So you can, whenever you're choosing a project and you have a specific screen or specific reason that you're doing it, you can probably find it in the design you want, the design specifications you need in the presets that are available in Photoshop. For now, we're just going to go to the default Photoshop size. If this is not being seen, if it's not something you can find in your software right now, just go to the right hand column, and it's you can custom create them as well. So just copy the width and height here, and make sure that your measurements are in centimeters for now. Resolution is 108.11, and RGB color is your color mode, right? If this is already a preset that's available to you, just select to it, it'll load. Here you can also change the name. So if you want to write something like tutorial 1 or whatever, it's if you want to identify it for future purposes, write your name here. For now, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to go to create, and once it's loaded, yeah. So this screen is what we call the workspace of Photoshop. So this is what you're going to be doing 99% of the time on Photoshop, right? When you're new to Photoshop, this is a bunch of things, and it's a lot to take in, right, for a beginner. But don't get too intimidated. The first thing I want you guys to do is to go to the top bar, and this is called the menu bar in Photoshop. I want you to go to the window option in the menu bar, go to workspace, and make sure that your default workspace that's selected is essentials. So these are pre-made presets for workspaces. So if I click on motion, my workspace will adapt itself for the purpose of creating motion related projects on Photoshop. But what I want you guys to do is just use essentials, which is the default workspace in Photoshop. The reason I want you guys to do that is because I want you guys to have the similar screen to mine. And once you go on window for workspace, you can go to reset essentials again. I want you to do this because once that's done, my screen and your screen should look the same. This is just going to help you not waste too much time trying to find out what I'm doing in my future videos. And yeah, so this is a few things I'm going to close. I'm going to close okay, before that let's just talk about what's available in the workspace. So I already mentioned that this is your menu bar. Below that we have what's called the option bar. I'm gonna go into the more detail about the option bar in just some time, but before that I just want to discuss the left hand panel. This left hand panel, it's docked here. It's called a toolbar, and basically it's all the tools that you're going to be using in Photoshop. That's all available here. And there are a bunch of tools and options that Photoshop provides, and you honestly don't need to know all of them as a beginner. But as we do sample projects in the future videos, I'm going to be doing sample projects in my future videos. So as we go through those, you'll get a better idea of all these tools. For now, I just want you to know that this is a toolbar and this is your menu bar. This white canvas right at the center of your screen, this is your work area. This is just the term in Photoshop. We call this the work area. Like a painter's canvas, this is where everything's going to be displayed. This is where you're going to put all your elements. This is how, once you export your element as a project, so if you're going to save your design as a image, that's what's going to be shown in the final project result, right? So in the final image that you export, that's going to be what's seen on your canvas here, on your work area here. On the right side, this is your panel section. So each section here is a panel. It's called a panel, and if you notice colors, switches, gradients, these are a bunch of panels that have been grouped together in this section, right? This section is adjustable, and just this is called a panel group. And just like this panel group with color, there's another one here below that for learn, libraries, and adjustments, and one more similar to that with layers, channels, and paths. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close a few panels because these are panels I'm not going to be using, and you can always add these. I'll show you how to add this as well. First, I'm just going to close this. I'm going to close libraries as well. I'm going to keep adjustments, but now because I have just one panel here, I kind of find it awkward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag adjustments out, and I'm going to add it to the below group with the layers. So now this is grouped with the layers panel. The good thing about panels is these are docked, but you can always undock them and move them around. So if you want, for the purpose of making it easier for you to access, everyone has a different way of working, right? So for your workflow, if you find it easier, that it's undocked, you can always undock it. But I find it a bit easier to have it docked so I can have multiple options available when I want to work on that. There's also two more panels here. They're just icons, but they're actually panels. So if I move adjustments here, it'll become its own icon, right? So it's just another bunch of panels, and I'm gonna add this back here. I'm gonna close this first panel. It's for history. We don't need it right now, and I'm gonna keep this panel of properties where it is, right? So the thing about panels is, even though I've closed so many, you can find them again in your window option in the menu bar. So the top bar is the menu bar. So if you go on window, if you just put your mouse over there and you select it, you can see that there are certain options that have ticks right near them. So adjustments, for example, and adjustments is, it's ticked because it's already here, right? It's already on your panels group. There's colors here as well. Now we have swatches and all these other options as well, but they're not being shown as selected already. I think that's probably like a bug. But if you go on shapes, it'll open here as an icon anyways. Uh, yeah. So suppose I'm missing a property I find to be very important. So I'm gonna go to character. That's a panel I feel is very important for my projects. It's some because you're gonna work with text on Photoshop, and this is all about editing text properties when you're working with text. So yeah, that's gonna be the only other panel I'm gonna add for now. So we have characters along with paragraphs and properties panel over here. I'm not gonna explain what each panel does right now. As we work on our tools, you'll get a better idea. I'll explain it at the same time. But yeah, this is your main interface, and I'm just going to come back to the options bar here. So the bar below the menu bar is the options bar, and the reason this is called an option bar is because this bar updates itself based on the tool that you have selected from your toolbar. So right now, if I go to, for example, the eyedropper tool, right? If you move your mouse over any of these, Photoshop CC 2020 will show you as a hover what the tool is along with its shortcut. So if you notice, it's written eyedropper tool, and in brackets it's written I. So that's your keyboard shortcut for the eyedropper tool. Now if you click on the eyedropper tool, you'll notice that options have changed in the option bar. They've updated themselves because we are now in the eyedropper tool. But if I go back to, if I go and change myself to another tool, for example, the gradient tool, it'll update itself again. So that's what the option bar is. They provide you options regarding to the tool you've selected. And yeah, this is all I'm going to put for this video. I don't want it to be too long. I'm going to try and keep my future videos as short as possible too, because I feel like it's too much information to take in at one video. At least that's how I learned it. But if you find it easier, you can always write in the comments that to record longer videos. And yeah, thank you for watching, and tune in for my next video.